from wherever you are. This is Jiniaka, so I would like to warmly welcome you everyone for joining our today's session under the theme of first episode of IVPN Research Conference, Imagine, Believe, and Achieve, which is in collaboration with the IVPN Student Listserv. So Hafiz and I will be in charge. If you have any inquiries or any concerns, please let us know in the chat box, or you can just drop down directly to us. So now I would like to give the floor to the IVPN Clinical Research Listserv leader, Dr. Nazam Shablak, to present the opening statement. Please, Doctor, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Zainab. I would like, first of all, to thank you all for attendance our first IVPN Research Conference. And also I wanted to thank the leaders or our experts for attending and for letting the others to hear their real stories. So why I call it IVPN Research Conference? Because it's, for me, it's an achievement ceremony. It's just not like a story telling about each project. It's a hard work for a couple of months, because since September 2020 until now, the IVPN Clinical Research Listserv annuals call for a research leader to lead an actual study project. We received like a couple of ideas and study projects, but we filter them to the best idea that can fit our platform. So up to like here now we have 2 years. It's my honor to have like 7 IRB approved, still ongoing project led by professional pharmacists. When I was leading the IVPN clinical research, was my passion always and forever that pharmacists can do research. We can do much more than that. We are like the medication expert in the field, so we can go beyond our practice. So today we'll hear the story about all of the 7 mentors. Each of one of them will explaining more about their research they conducted, and they will provide an updates on the progress on their research studies. Also, they will mention some of the pros and cons they have experienced during the study conducting period. Because we know nothing is going perfect in this life, so we need to know the negativity and the positivity of each of them, and what's the challenge even they face it and how they overcome it. And I need also, they said, man la yashkur الناس لا يشكر الله. I need to thank the IVPN students, because led by Ahmed Al-Kad, because he was helping me and letting the students to join the mentors and introduce them to this new experience by participating in a new project from the scratch, and then at the end they can publish this abstract or the manuscript. I need also to thank Hafiz, Hamza, and Zina Kawa for their hard work in order to they are the one, they have this initiative, this idea that we need to collect the mentors together, so people are becoming benefit from the speech. So they have like hard work during the last 3 months. So thank you, Zina, thank you, Hafiz. And I need to thank for sure our beautiful designer, Muhammad Sahil, Anhar Baballa, and Ala Abdullah, because they are the my backbone when they design all of the flyers, the speakers, the team of flyers, the Zoom Lab platform, and everything. And at the end, I need to thank my family, my backbone, my supporter, my everything. Here, the IVPN Research Board is welcoming all of you on behalf of me for this beautiful, inshallah, clinical research board conference. And at the end, hope we will get benefit from all of us. And please keep tracking to the end, to the panel discussion, so we'll have time to ask each of the mentors. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Doctor, for your words, for your initiation. So now it is time to pass the floor to the research leaders and sharing with us the story of their journey and highlight the obstacles and how they overcome them. So the best part of this journey, to be honest, I mean, all those of these journeys is including the multi-center studies. I mean, the multi-center are just contributed, which is consisting in contributing for the various countries, which is actually influence the studies. So first, I'd like to pass the floors to Dr. Emna Abidi to share the journey with us. And there's a title of Acute Cardiovascular Disease Following COVID-19, Acute COVID-19 Cardiovascular Syndrome, Prevalence, Diagnosis Procedures, and Evolving Therapeutic Approach, which is a retrospective multi-center cohort study. So the floor is yours, Doctor. Please go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Zinia. Thank you, Naga, for this wonderful introduction. Just let me share my screen. Can you all see the screen now?
Yeah, we can see.
So good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us today in this wonderful gathering for the first IVPN Network Clinical Research Summit. So as Zinia and nicely presented me, I'm Dr. Emna Abidi. I'm a PhD, and I have a PhD in pharmacology and in pharmaceutical sciences. And I'm going to be briefly talking about my research journey with a very passionate research team that has gathered through the IVPN research listserv. So I will start by presenting my team, which is composed of different motivated investigators from many countries, since this is a retrospective multi-center cohort study. So the different participants or investigators here are of different backgrounds. Some of them are still students, and some of them are MDs, like Dr. Hadi Mohammed. I will not mention all the names, but I would like to highlight the diversity that exists in this team. So as well as we have them from different countries, as I said, so we can state Pakistan, Iraq, Egypt, US, Lebanon, and Tunisia. So I would like to first present a brief about our project objectives and methodology. So as this flyer highlights, our objectives were to determine the prevalence of the acute COVID-19 cardiovascular syndrome in different hospital sites. Then to define the accompanying risk factors, as well as subjects at high risk. We also looked to describe demographics and clinical characteristics and laboratory features related to those patients, to describe the diagnostic procedures they used, as well as the treatment of choice. And also to assess the clinical outcomes of the cardiovascular disease complicated COVID-19 infection. So this is a multi-center retrospective cohort study on COVID-19 patients that presented with or without a new onset of cardiovascular complications. So this journey started with a call that was launched by our leader, the IVPN research leader, Dr. Naam. So in this call, they encouraged all of investigators from all over the world to present their ideas and to discuss them. And then after selection, the floor was also opened for different motivated investigators from all levels and different backgrounds of research and degrees and careers, in order to join those investigators or leaders and to perform their and to accompany them to through their research journey. So here, for this specific project I'm leading, the team was made up based on the research necessities. So for our project, investigators from different countries, as I previously highlighted, joined us through the IVPN listserv, and in order to be able to perform this multi-center study. Then we met several times to more talk about our study rationale, study aims, objectives, and methodology. So then we follow this timeline in order to be able to delegate tasks and follow a precise and well-organized timeline for the study performance. So this timeline was performed on 3 different phases. So during phase 1, we gathered or we performed our literature review, and then we met several times in order to write our protocol and especially to think about how to get our IV forms and approvals from different institutions, since this is a primordial milestone and cornerstone to be able to start our study. So after that, phase 2 was about collecting data from different sites. This was also followed by data entry and cleaning, and then data analysis. And here we are. So for this study, we are at this phase. We are currently analyzing the data from different sites. So during this second phase, we were able to highlight our study input. So by gathering data about demographics, baseline characteristics, and the clinical characteristics, laboratory findings, diagnosis procedures, treatments, and outcomes. Finally, phase 3 of the study will be writing the manuscript, reviewing the manuscript, and publishing our data. So at this stage, we will be hopefully able to reflect our study output, since we propose a surveillance, diagnostic, and management strategy that will balance potential patient risk with improvement in a meaningful clinical outcome. So to do so and to perform these different tasks that are quite complicated sometimes and that need a lot of efforts from our groups, different and multiple task delegation emails and follow-up meetings have been held with different assigned groups in order to make sure of the study workflow, as well as to discuss different difficulties and challenges that are faced by each group. Speaking of which, we can tell that our roadmap was not empty of challenges, and these are very numerous. So here we come to briefly discuss the most encountered challenges and how to deal with them. So in fact, the very first challenge is to choose the right topic. And then we have also to choose the right methodology in order to perform our research, to assemble a great and appropriate research team, to find study participants, to get institutions to participate, and finally to stay motivated until the end and to work our plan. So also collectively dealing with the data by the end, and in order to transform it into a meaningful and successful publication is also a challenge. So here I will try to highlight how can we and how we were able to overcome these challenges. So to overcome the first challenge, it is very necessary to develop a doable topic. So we have to read about it to make it, or to make sure it will hold your interest as well as the interest of other people. So at this stage, we always think about reading a lot to do a great literature review, and also to look for a niche in which you can make a difference. That means that you have to assess the difference your topic will make in the field. And always remember also to get your self-shift gears. This briefly means that you always expect that the topic you will start with will probably not be the one you will end up doing. So it's always prone to changes. So working with group is also a challenge on itself. So while working in a group, you always have to be prepared to fine-tune your topic based on different inputs and suggestions from other investigators. And we are facing this daily in our project. So especially when it's about a multi-center study. Coming to challenge number 2, which is choosing the right methodology. I always suggest that the best way to choose it is not to choose, because the methodology that is used it comes from the question itself and never from your preference for a study design or another. You always have to let your answer guide you. So that means that you have to define what kind of design and methodology will answer best your questions. So the methodology should also be clear. So be crystal clear about your methodology. So any one of the group of researchers that is involved in the study should be able to pick it up and to do exactly the same. And here also I insist on the specificity of the multi-center study. We also have to be honest about your abilities, which means that you always have to look at yourself and ask your group, this is what the study demands. Are we able, or do we have the skills to do this? So this is very important to know since the beginning. Also, when it's especially about a multi-center study methodology, it is always worth it to consult other researchers, their institutions, their teams, and respective mentors during the planning, in order to proceed, in order to help you better design your methodology. And sometimes it is also worth it to do a pilot study before you get into the real study and invest much time and sometimes money. Here we come to the challenge number 3, which is assembling the research team, because this stage is not that easy, and it's not easy as it seems like. So for this step, I suggest, and I would like to emphasize on the importance to communicate with previous group leaders from the IVPN listserv, research listserv, in order to solicit some useful feedback. So these previous experienced leader will help you choose the right formula of the team that would be capable to realize the idea from different angles and perspectives. And similarly, at this stage, when it comes to finding a study team and research team, it's always good to be clear about your needs. So from them, so they can help you do the study and come up with the best outcomes. Here, finding the study participants is not as easier as the first steps. So here, and especially at this point, I suggest to always leverage the power of the network. And here I emphasize on the power of the IVPN network and the IVPN research listserv, since having participants in this study is primordial to achieve the study goals. So use the snowball sampling method, and this can be possible and very possible by targeting a particular group, locating advocates within your social network, and here again comes the power of using the IVPN network. So ask contacts to recommend and connect with others who might be willing to participate in the study and make it happen. Coming to challenge number 5, which is getting institutions now to participate in your projects, because different participants will be belonging to different institutions. So in this step, we always expect failure and rejection. So what I suggest is to never stop at the first rejection, to pursue alternative avenues, and to always persevere. So all of this means that you always have to connect, network again with people, make phone calls, emails, and people who may help you get access. And at this stage, then people who are institution we call them gatekeepers, will have to believe that you are coming in objectively, and that your research yields will somehow impact positively, potentially positively impact their institutions, and come out with an added value. Here we still always have to be prepared, having all the necessary study information, formats, supporting documents, signed approvals, as many institutions will ask for them. This will increase your credibility and the credibility of the team. I always also emphasize on yourself, as well as the IVPN network image. So use it to make the difference and gain mutual benefits. It's also beneficial to get benefit of your team connections, and to let them present the best way at different conferences and different scientific like meetings. Here, coming to the end, and now the study is established and on track, you will still have to face some challenges, and one of which is to stay motivated and to work your plan. So here, the first component is being passionate about what you are researching. At this point, the research will increase your passion and then help you to achieve its goals. Monitor your attitude, which means that you have to always stay positive towards these different challenges and to face them with a positive attitude. To reward yourself and your team. This is by always acknowledging their achievements as well as yours. And here we come to the last challenge, at least as far as we experienced here with our project, collectively dealing with the data. So here, it's mainly about data. It's mainly about what you already gathered as data. So to connect with your data the best way, you have to connect your own research to the existing research, to ground yourself into the research, and to know how your results will add to the existing body of knowledge already there. And never look at the data with a preconceived eye or idea, since you literally have to step back, watch the data, and wait for the data to come alive and to speak up its outcomes. So you also have to take advantage of the technology. There is a lot of it now, in order to connect the dots, to connect the points you have gathered through your data, and to let it present itself and guide you or drive your presentation in order to come up with the best publication. Here, finally, based on my own and my team experience so far, I would like to leave a take-home message, which is to initiate your own experience and make a bigger impact by learning how IVPN clinical research and alumni got past the most difficult research roadblocks. And thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much, Dr. Emna, for sharing this amazing journey and talking about those challenges that you and your team just faces. So we wish you the best of luck, inshallah. So now, before giving the floor to Dr. Ruhi Yusuf to continue, I'd like to say, for those please who have the question, they can just drop down in the chat box or just hold it or keep it for the second session, which is a panel discussion that we are giving the floor to you to just ask directly to the mentors and asking your question. So now I would like to give the floor to Dr. Ruh Youssef, which is to hearing the wonderful journey from her and the title of the prevalence of COVID-19 among pediatric oncology population in the Middle East and Pakistan. So Dr. The floor is yours, please go ahead.
Thank you, Xenia, for a nice introduction. I would like to thank Xenia and Dr. Sinagam especially to give us such a good opportunity to do this clinical research and to publish and present this. I hope I can be heard by everyone and my screen is visible too.
Yeah, it's up here. Thank you.
So my introduction has been done beautifully done already by Xenia. I'm Ruh Youssef, working as clinical pharmacist pediatric oncology in Pakistan in a pediatric oncology hospital. The research topic I chose and my team chose is prevalence of COVID-19 among pediatric oncology population in Middle East and Pakistan. We started it as a multi-center study. About how this research project idea initiated and why such a topic is initiated. We started working it in 2020 when when it was a COVID era and when almost whole world was quarantined. But being a pediatric oncology pharmacist, I had to face almost all healthcare providers had to face that they had to continuously going to their healthcare centers and face this pandemic altogether. So pediatric oncology patients and their healthcare providers had to be in the hospitals despite the fact that all the world was quarantined and everything was stopped. But the healthcare providers could not be stopped because they had to give the healthcare services to the most critical patients of the cancer patients. We don't have to break their treatments because they are more at the risk of getting infection and even more risk of getting their disease worse. So we cannot stop their treatment. Being a pediatric oncology pharmacist and knowing the fact that these patients are already immunocompromised and still we cannot remain quarantined or we cannot quarantine them and stop their treatment and let them get worse. So I thought it's design a study and see okay, how much they are affected by this pandemic. And this fact inspired me to investigate and see if pediatric oncology patients are more prone to get infectious and how much is the severity with all the complication associated with their currently prevailing the disease conditions and see how it comes. How this journey started. Basically, IVPN research platform did this amazing job, not only for me, but for all the research projects we are going to discuss today. IVPN passion that says that IVPN finds, create, and polish talents. All the pharmacists naturally have to do the clinical research passion, but they are unable to do because of they have limited resources and because of the complicated research process and because there are no such opportunities involved. But IVPN made it possible. In fact, IVPN Research itself provided us the platform and prepared us as a research leader with resources and guidance. Polished the research skills through wonderful research educational series. We had those who have attended the complete educational series. It's also it's uploaded on the research listserv on the IVPN website. So IVPN made it possible to formulate research team from different parts of the world. We announced our research products and most of the people showed their interest and for this the opportunity and took part in the research projects that.
Sorry for interruption, Dr. Ruh, please.
Yeah,
can you hear
sorry.
Me? We can't hear you. We can see that you're going the next slide is. can see your next slides. We only see your first one. I don't know what's wrong.
Now,
Yeah, still the same. We can only see the first slide.
okay. Should I share my screen again?
You can just stop the sharing and then start sharing again.
Okay. Let me see.
Still the same.
Can you see it now?
Yeah, it's the first slide. Just please next one.
Now?
Okay, now we can see. Perfect. Thank you. We can.
Okay. So, I was talking about the IVPN research listserv. They provided us the opportunity and made us the research leader. IVPN research listserv also helped us in finding the research team. Everyone was wanted to be a part of the research project, and we compiled the team with a multiple range of skills, experience, and knowledge, and so they can perform research study related tasks. I will discuss later how the team was compiled and how we assign different tasks to the team. So you can see my next slide.
No.
Again, no?
Yeah. Could you please just
use the panoramic view?
Yeah.
So it's changing automatically. Yes.
Can you see it now?
Yeah, we can see now.
I am on my research team. Is it
Yeah,
visible?
yeah, we can see.
Okay, so let it be like this. I think there's a problem with slide share.
Yeah, maybe. Please go ahead.
So this is my research team. Different people from different parts of the world. So basically, my research project was in the Middle East and Pakistan. So most of the people, the couple of people, Mesh Kumar and Sombalik Baris from Pakistan, Mehdi Nasser is from Qatar, Ren, Shahama, and Fatma is from Saudi Arabia. So basically, it's a two-center study from Pakistan and Saudi Arabia. So the journey, we started from the task allocation. After the project announcement, we allocated the task in which IVPN research leader played an important role. We conducted several online meetings because of the pandemics, obviously, and because of the multi-center study. We made social media groups to communicate and to discuss different projects. Evaluated sites and feasibilities to formulate the team, the which sites we are going to study and what are the feasibilities to conduct this project. Personal evaluation and task evaluation as per the experience and the skills were done, because a lot of people were interested in doing the research, but we have to compile our team as per their experience and as per the research outcome and as per the sites from which we are going to study and collect the data. We assign the timelines as per the task length. First of all, we decided the project and planned the timelines for the data collection, for the literature review and analysis and IRB approval, and so on. And we also allocated the tasks as per the skills of the participant and the feasibilities and willingness and experience and obviously the education. IRB approval from the both centers were also taken. Talking about the journey further, background of the project is I have already discussed. It was the SARS-CoV era, which is associated with a high risk of morbidity and mortality, which is in chronic illnesses and in immunocompromised pediatric patients compared to general public. General public was already very much under risk of this pandemic, but the immunocompromised patients like the cancer patient were especially at more risk, and we were very afraid of pandemic because of with reference to these patients. What will happen to them is pandemic is going to more harm them. and how will they behave with their treatment protocols. Till now, or we can say till then, little was known about the specific risk of COVID-19 in pediatric oncology and the bone marrow transplant patients. So it was reported that the pediatric oncology patients are more susceptible, but how much susceptible, and in fact, how much risk can be done? We have to timeline and design a study protocol to assess the in fact risk and the outcomes for these patients. So talking about the journey further, what was the design and methodology of my study? Study design was a retrospective two-center cohort study, and study population among the population pediatric oncology patients of Pakistan in Middle East, aged up to 16 years, from 1 year to 2 years to 16 years old patients, pediatric patients was enrolled, investigated for the occurrence and the clinical features and of the COVID-19. IRB approval was applied and obtained from both the centers, including the King Fahd Medical City, Saudi Arabia. If I talk about the eligibility criteria, although in all the pediatric oncology patients with all the cancer types, whether it's solid malignancy or leukemia or any bleeding disorder, or even with pediatric bone marrow transplant patients who are seeking management, any or above of the center in the age range of 1 month to 16 years old, and who were underwent PCR COVID test to confirm COVID-19 status or under COVID treatment. So we enrolled in the study all the patients who are COVID positive and who are taking cancer treatment of any kind from 1 month to 16 years old patients. Methodology was well-designed, questionnaires was developed, and data was collected for any pediatric patients admitted between July 2020 till December 2021 in the above mentioned healthcare institutions. The questionnaire contained the demographics and the COVID-19 brief details, the brief details including the cancer type, the treatment ongoing, and the complications associated with the COVID-19 and with the diseases. Collected data is analyzed and results, primary results have been compiled, and we are analyzing and compiling data more. So I would present this primary data. We enrolled 255 number of patients, and among them we found up to now COVID positive patients who were 28. Among them, solid malignancies were 23, leukemia patients were 6, solid malignancy patients, including lymphomas and other cancers. 23 were COVID positive. Among leukemia, total number of patients were 25. Bleeding disorders were 16 and general were 18. About the demographics of the COVID-19 positive patients in pediatric oncology, there were almost 45 patients who were 1 to 10 years old. So according to the primary results, it was revealed that there are more chances of getting infections in the lower age group from 1 to 10 years and more in rather 1 to 6 year age. And it was also shown from the study that the male patients as compared to female patients are more susceptible to getting infection. Only 30% of the patients who were on the treatment got the infection, and almost 30 patients were with comorbidities, with almost 35 were showed the COVID-19 symptoms, including shortness of breath and other COVID-19 associated symptoms in which the oxygen dependence is also included. The respiratory support, only 20% of the 20% of the patients needed respiratory support, and almost 40 patients treatments were delayed because of this infection, and we had to treat first their COVID-19 and their treatment later continued after the treatment or after the recovery of the COVID-19. So further results or secondary results are being compiled, and we will publish this data. We are going to publish this data very soon, inshallah. Uh, I'm talking about the challenges me and my team faced during the journey. Obviously, the research of any kind, whether it's clinical or non-clinical research, it's a long process, and we have to wait, and we have to show patience a lot. Moreover, COVID era itself was a big challenge. Institutions and countries had different COVID timelines. For example, there was a lockdown in one country, and other country was open. We could do some things in Pakistan, and the other country was closed, and there were restrictions, COVID restrictions prevailing. So that created a lot of challenges for us. Data collection and IRB approval is obviously a long and tedious process. You have to bear a long patience, and we did the same. Sometimes delays make us disheartening feeling, but we continue. Different countries and institutions have different requirements for IRB approval. So sometimes delays occurs, and we have to do and act accordingly. We conducted on several online coordinations, online meetings. Sometimes one member was among the team was COVID positive, so we had to delay the process and manage the situations accordingly. But overall, the team overcome the challenges with the help of our lead and the dedication of all the team members, obviously. So about the suggestion for the researchers in their journey, what I would say is being a clinical practicing pharmacist, I would say there's a lot of room in clinical research for pharmacists. There are several topics, and we can do a lot of research being a pharmacist, being a clinical practicing pharmacist. So we have to come forward and use this IVPN research platform, IVPN research listserv. We can you have all the guidance available, and you can do a lot of clinical research using this platform. Second advice I would second suggestion I would say is choose team properly, well planned as per their skills, experience, education, as per their speciality. For example, when I choose my team, I was preferring that the people who are related to or have experience of working in pediatric oncology, so they better understand the scenario. Next suggestion is assign timeline for every task, because research is a long and tedious process. You cannot go through unless you assign a well-controlled timeline and follow and check this timeline frequently after every step. And second is conduct meeting and analyze your progress after each and every step. And the other suggestions is choose topic carefully. Selection of the topic is crucial for the success of your research project. So choosing topic carefully means there is a lot of things involved in this. Your feasibility, your working environment, your team, your your things, the availabilities of the things, and the IRB approvals, everything included in the selection of the project. So you have to choose your topic very much carefully. Then next comes planning. You have to plan after choosing your topic, plan everything, plan according to the timelines. We started with the timelines. Sometimes delays occur, but we have to observe the patience and perseverance. So these the two words, patience and perseverance, are the key for any research project. And you don't have to lose patience until your project is done. With this, I will close my presentation and my topic with this quote of Christopher Reeve. Once you choose hope, anything is possible. With this, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Zaruk, for sharing this amazing experience with us. And now I would like to give the floor to Dr. Ala Majid to just share the glorious journey with us. Please, the floor is yours, Doctor.
Thank you, Zinia. And now we'll move on with the presentation. 1 minute. Can you see my screen?
Yes, Ala, we see it. Go
okay. So, okay, great. So the research project's name is 19 symptoms in non-hospitalized patients. And this is the following poster. So as you can see, I have different people from different countries, from Lebanon, from UAE, and each one of them have a different specialty. We have students, and we have even professional doctors that work in a hospital setting, or even lecturers. So how it all started. So it all goes back when I first got COVID-19 in July 2020. And then after it, I started experiencing the post-COVID-19 symptoms, which are like brain fog, weight loss, and fatigue. And I thought, am I the only one having these symptoms? And there wasn't enough data back then. My fellow friend, Dr. Ahmed Lawaini, introduced me to IVPN Research Network, where I met Dr. Nagam, where I was part of the IVPN clinical research. I've talked with Dr. Nagam a couple of times, and she told me, why don't you start your own research project? And I was still a fresh graduate with minimal experience, so I didn't have much information about research. But with the help of Dr. Nagam and the IVPN clinical research group, I was able to announce my project and move on with it. With the help also with the help of my team, which are made up of different professional people like Dr. Muna, Dr. Nagam, Dr. Ahmed Lawaini. They helped me like at each and every step to move on with my project. So I wouldn't be announcing my research project without the IVPN clinical research platform. So the background and methodology of my research, it all goes back to certain patients continue to experience COVID-19 related symptoms after the acute period of infection has passed. And there was limited studies back then for outpatient population. Most data was available for only hospitalized patients, and there was minimal data for outpatient population. So this is a multi-site longitudinal cohort retrospect study where we will approach previous infected COVID patients with electronically distributed self-administered questionnaires. So the main objectives of the study, they were to measure the incidence and evolution of long-term effects of COVID-19 in only outpatient population, and to evaluate the associated risk factors with long-term effects and prolonged recovery. The eligible patients were patients that were above 18 years old, and they were in they had symptomatic COVID with a positive PCR, and they had symptomatic COVID, and they were only treated in an outpatient population. So the timeline of the study, as you could see, for the announcement for collaboration, which happened through IVPN, it started on March 10th. Recruitment was done by 20th of March. Then we started working immediately because like the research takes a lot of time. So we submitted the protocol for IRB approval on the 13th of April, and we got the IRB approval from the Applied Science Private University in Jordan with the help of Dr. Mona. At this time, we were still working on our Google survey in order to start sharing it and collect our data. So we finalized our Google survey, and data collection started on June 1st. And so far, we're still working on the data collection, and later on, I'll explain why we're still collecting data till now. So for the preliminary results, as you could see, we don't have any results yet because we're still at the data collection point. We have around 256 responses. 176 of them, they were eligible for the study. 31.4 from Lebanon, 30.8 from Jordan, 13.14 from Egypt, and 10.8 from Tunisia. So the challenges and advices we were facing. So for the challenges, first of all, there was the main problem was the time difference, and in order to organize a meeting with the whole team. So this was the main challenge because I had a large team. Each one of them had their own thing to do. So it was kind of hard to adjust the time and provide each one of the tasks and submit it at the appropriate time. So this was one of the most challenges. The second one is the consistency. As you know, doing research, it's sometimes getting data motivation. And most of us fall out of motivation, and we feel tired at certain times of our life, and we get overwhelmed with our busy life. So there's no consistency. So we're having trouble in collecting the data and sharing our survey. So this also affects the data collection. So if there's no consistency in sending the surveys, there's not enough data collection. So we're running back in our schedule, in our schedule. So how do we solve this? First of all, we try to give reminders every now and then how much responses we've reached every week, and then how many responses we reached from each country, and maybe motivate each one of them to reach a certain goal. Like if one country, if one of us sent the survey for 10 people fill it, so we will have around 100 responses in a 1 week. But sometimes it doesn't work, and sometimes it does. The second advice is to change the way we're collecting the data. So last time, one of our group members suggested maybe we should add a poster, and it would help to draw the attention to the survey. So we added this, and it really helped to draw the attention to collect the data. So if you have an idea and hesitant about it, always seek a professional advice. And this goes back because I was a fresh graduate. I had minimal information about research. I was taking online courses and all that, but it wasn't enough for me to know all these steps. So with the help of the IVPN clinical research, there were mentors that were helping me to move each step and by step. As a conclusion, starting a research project is not easy as it seems. It takes time, dedication, and a lot of learning. And I never knew that because at the end of the day, we only see the published research, but we never know how much time and dedication it does take. So if an opportunity doesn't knock, we should build a door. And back then, I didn't know that I wanted to know more about COVID. So with the help of IVPN clinical research, I started this research project. Thank you, everyone.
Dr. Ala, can you hear us?
Yes, I could hear you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for your remarkable leadership and for sharing this amazing journey with us.
Thank you.
And we wish you the best for you and your team. So now I would like to pass the floor to Dr. Hiba Al-Richak and to share the journey with us under the title of the Safety Drug Profile of COVID-19 Antivirals Tertiary Medical City Experience. The floor is yours, Doctor. Please go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Zinia, for this nice presentation, and thank you, Dr. Sama and Dr. Nagam, for giving us this opportunity to present our research project. So let's start. Is that clear?
Yes, we can see your slide.
Excellent. So let's start with our research project. Our research project that I will present today, inshallah, talk about the safety drug profile of COVID-19 antivirals. And this is a tertiary medical city experience. So first of all, how our research project idea started. This idea started as COVID-19 incidence, mortality, and morbidity rapidly climbed. And as you know, current treatment options were limited. New therapeutic options were needed, but were limited by lack of evidence. So literature start talking about antiretroviral like Calitra, darunavir, ritonavir, ribavirin, interferon, favipiravir were recommended in literature and were given in our institution according to therapeutic protocol. Sorry. These drugs were tested in different combinations, but the problem that we don't have enough safety data and literature. So for that reason, we decided to go with our own experience in the safety of COVID-19.
Sorry for the interruption, Doctor. Please, I think that something went wrong with your microphone. If we can just fix it, that would be better.
Okay, is that better now?
Actually, no.
Sorry. What about now? It's better?
No, still the same, unfortunately. If we can just fix it because
It's good. It's not bad at all, Zina. I don't know.
Is it fine now?
It's a little bit noisy.
Okay,
but
you can go, Doctor. You can just please
maybe
continue.
because there's a done voice.
Yeah, maybe. Please go ahead.
So choosing IVPN platform started as an idea because I have many experience as a co-author. So going into research leader need different level of experience. So I contact Dr. Nagam to just help us to just build our research experience. And you can see that IVPN platform help us a lot as a researcher to upgrade our research skills through their amazing continuous education series. And it helps us connecting to highly effective research team members with appropriate range of skills, experience, and knowledge base who are able really to conduct the proposed research task effectively. And finally, IVPN in general, not only research platform, keep us up to date to what's going on in pharmacy world. So thank you, really, IVPN platform for helping us in this project. And after connecting with a lot of pharmacists, we end up with our amazing team. I want to thank them all. As you can see, it's multinational. We have Dr. Aya, she's working in Qatar, and she's doing most of our statistic analysis. Dr. Alina, Dr. Rahab, and Dr. Fuad. It's working with me in the same institution, and they help us a lot in data collection, IRB proposal, and still they are supporting. Dr. Muhammad, Dr. Nayira, Dr. Serene, and Dr. Nuha help us a lot through literature review, and still they are helping us through manuscript writing. So thank you, all of you. Our research journey, design and methodology start with the following. The study design, it's descriptive, retrospective cohort study, single center. And alhamdulillah, we got an exemption for IRP approval by KMC IRP and registered at the National Biomedical Ethics Committee, King Abdulaziz City for Science and Technology. Our study population were all admitted COVID-19 patients who received COVID antivirals according to our hospital treatment guideline, with enough follow-up laboratory investigation at baseline and during their antiretroviral therapy journey. So inclusion criteria was all hospitalized COVID-19 patients who receive antivirals according to hospital protocol from April 2020 to November 2020. Our exclusion criteria was COVID-19 patients who received antivirals treatment but without follow-up investigation, or a COVID-19 patient who received these antivirals but as outpatient without follow-up investigation. Primary objective was to discuss the type and rate of adverse drug event in COVID-19 antivirals during patient course of therapy. And for the secondary objective, to investigate the patient risk factor for developing adverse events from these antivirals during the course of treatment. For the study procedure, we took every single patient who is fit with the inclusion criteria. We identified them either from ADR reporting record or through general screening of all COVID patients for any adverse event that occurred and mentioned either by pharmacist team or by treating physician in our medical health system, track care system. So how we started, how we distribute our form. As a team, we depend on this project tracking spreadsheet to distribute and to monitor our workflow. And it's created by our outstanding research colleague, Dr. Fuad. MashaAllah, he's the organizer of our team. So we start to define what type of research task we need to do. We started with literature review, and as we can see, a lot of researchers help us in literature review, data collection, data analysis, manuscript writing, finalizing, and submission. So for literature review, we depend on this Excel sheet just to submit all our work in order to memorize and to save everything if we will go later for it again. And we did a lot of Zoom meeting to discuss these literature review results. For the result, it's a primary result. We had around 466 patients. These were the included patient, actually. Total patients were around 583 patients, but the included patients were around 466. Total patients with adverse drug event, we had it as 282. It's around 60% of all included patients, and total patients without ADR around 184 with 39.4%. And these types of reported ADR, we can see that we define the type of ADR according to antiviral hemoglobin drop, liver injury, hyperuricemia. These were the most adverse drug event that we noticed in our patient. We have also thrombocytopenia induced by antiviral, leukopenia. We have neutropenic patient during the course of therapy, but it's reversible for sure, neutropenia. QTc prolongation were noticed also in some of our patients. And finally, GI disturbance. So what type of challenges we face during our journey? The most obvious challenge that we face actually is heavy workload, because as you can see, we have screened a lot of patients, around 600 patients total included and excluded. So we try to overcome this issue by utilize a research volunteer from Al University. Most of them, they are PharmD volunteers, but even sometimes getting the help of volunteer need much effort from our side, because we need to supervise them to make sure that they are providing us with correct data. The second challenge was multinational researcher team with different time zone, making hard to even to do multiple Zoom meetings. So we created a WhatsApp group to achieve better communication. Sometimes getting behind on the deadline at some steps because for many reasons, either because of team members' personal reason or further auditing to what we have done. We extend the data analysis beyond the deadline. Even data collection took a lot of time with us beyond what we expect. And only few members have access to electronic health system for data collection because as I said, our research team was divided between half of the team was we're working inside the institution and half working outside. So only half of us have access to electronic health system for data collection. And these are our suggestions for further future researcher. You need to choose your team carefully. Make sure that your team have the skills, the experience, the knowledge, that they are able to conduct the proposed research task effectively. Keep the responsibilities clear. Divide the workload between your team in a clear way, and keep a tracking sheet to follow the workflow. Know your team's strength and weaknesses and try to work on these weaknesses in order to improve it. Make reasonable deadline, but keep in mind that sometimes delay beyond deadline sometimes can happen. Try to meet frequently and try to give update to the team about the progress. And finally, assign a double check team or double check member for each process in order to make sure that it's going in the right way. And thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Heba, for your nice and amazing presentation. And thank you so much for sharing your experience, as well as we wish you the best for you and your team. So now I would like to give the floor to Dr. Rowan Wesley, which will be, however, she couldn't be with us, unfortunately. So one of her team members, Dr. Tala Zaytun, will present the presentation under the theme of the effect of blood group types on the risk of contracting COVID-19 among household contacts. So please, Doctor, go ahead. The floor is yours. We can hear you, Tala.
Can you hear me
now? Your voice too low. Can you just try to raise your voice or?
Yes, can you hear me now?
Okay, perfect. We can hear you. Please go ahead.
I'll start by sharing my screen.
Yes, we can see.
Yes. So can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can see.
This is not my screen. Someone else is sharing.
Really?
This is not my screen. Someone else is sharing. Okay. Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Tala Zaytun and I'm a pharmacist graduated in 2020. I will be representing Dr. Rawan Al-Hawasli. She is the project leader, but I will be representing her and the team and presenting this presentation on her behalf today. So our presentation is about a multi-site observational study of the effect of blood group types on the risk of contracting COVID-19 among household contacts. This is our team, and this is Dr. Rawan, who is the leader, but unfortunately she couldn't be with us today. So our team consists of different members from different countries, which made the journey even more interesting and enriching. So how the research project started? It started with an idea. As the COVID pandemic was rapidly expanding, we noticed that the transmission and effects of this virus were variable between different people. So even the people living in the same household. So we decided to perform this study. And using the IVPN research listserv platform, we managed to successfully get in contact with the like-minded researchers and volunteers and build a team and then start brainstorming and planning our research project. We divided the tasks between us, between the members, and based on every person's area of experience and ability, we were able to perform the tasks through Zoom meetings and WhatsApp groups. So the steps we conducted in our journey were as follows. We started by planning the study and setting the timeline, and then we developed the protocol. We divided the protocol into sections, and every team member did a specific section. And then we started designing the data collection tools, which are the questionnaires. Step 4 was obtaining the IRB approval, which we got from the Applied Science Private University in Jordan. And then we started with the data collection and analysis. Reaching to the manuscript, we prepared the manuscript, the draft, and then we submitted the manuscript for review and publication.
Tala, Dr. Tala, excuse me, there is a noise around the voice?
Yes, wait a minute, maybe I can fix it.
Yeah, please. But your voice is so far. The noise comes back.
Hello?
Yeah, your voice is better, but the noise comes back.
Okay, I'll try to hide my voice a bit. Okay, so the background of the project, it's according to previous studies, we had several viral diseases. They showed association with different blood groups. So as for the family of the SARS-CoV viruses, the risk of infection is lowest among the blood groups type O. And in 2015, there was a study, it was the first study done, and it started to identify an interesting negative association between the blood group type O and a reduced risk of SARS-1. As for the design, it was a multi-site cross-sectional study in which we targeted previously diagnosed COVID-19 patients with electronically distributed self-administered questionnaires. The SAQs, the questionnaires, were less susceptible to information bias and interviewer effects because they have the least investigator involvement. And the data collection was expected to last for 4 months, and it will take place in the Middle East region. Okay, so the objectives of our study were as follows. The primary objective was to assess whether the different blood groups would increase or decrease the risk of contracting COVID-19 disease in close contact settings in the people living in the same house. And the secondary objectives were to assess the relationship between blood group types and disease severity, because each person contracted in a specific degree of severity of the disease, and to assess the risk of contracting the disease among people living with COVID-19 patients according to their blood group. The inclusion criteria was adults older than 18 years old, diagnosed with COVID-19, sharing the living space with other individuals, and aware of their blood group type. The exclusion criteria were participants or anyone of their household has done the survey before. So we wouldn't have two people from the same household doing the survey. And the participant has been quarantined or hospitalized away from their household contacts during their sickness. because the study is only made on people who were quarantined at home, not away from their family members. We had no results yet because we're still in the data collection process, but using the WHO calculator with the level of confidence interval to be 95% and margin of error 5%, the minimum sample size required is 385. And we have collected 205 responses by now. The questionnaire is as follows. The data required is being collected through anonymous self-administered questionnaires, which are distributed electronically to participants, including demographic data, infection status, blood group types, and health records. And the questionnaire is available in 2 languages, in English and Arabic. This is an example of the questionnaires, as you can see, in English and in Arabic. And the example of the questions in the questionnaire: have you been diagnosed with COVID-19? And have you been isolated during your sickness? We definitely faced a lot of challenges during our journey, which included virtual recruitment of participants, because the process is anonymous, so many people did not want to participate, and we had no direct contact with the participants. But we overcame this challenge by using different social media platforms like Facebook and LinkedIn, and we reached out to people we know. The second challenge was that we had no funding. We had to use Google Forms for the questionnaire, and which led to even more challenges like technical problems. And third challenge was the communication challenges between team members, because we have different time zones and lack of availability. Every team member have other responsibilities, but we still managed to do Zoom meetings and follow up on the WhatsApp groups, and we assigned specific tasks for each team member. We set a deadline and a strict timeline. And the last challenge we faced was the overall pandemic situation. People were very stressed and worldwide, and they were fed up with online surveys and questionnaires. So we had to recognize what community we are targeting, what population, and try again at a more suitable time. We were patient and mindful about the global situation when approaching participants. So we have suggestions from the team to the future researchers. First, we advise you to utilize the IVPN resources to find like-minded researchers and turn ideas into projects and believe in it, to start planning ahead and don't underestimate the tasks and follow a set timeline. Stay connected with the team members and encourage each other, and always be flexible and adjust according to the situation. We always advise you to face the challenges, because you will definitely face challenges. So we can always face them, overcome the challenges, and try to find alternative channels, and keep going until you succeed. In the end, I want to mention that our research project was such an enriching experience, and the outcome of this research will be very important, and it will give a better understanding to the global population about the transmission of COVID-19. So I want to thank the IVPN for this opportunity and my team members for this interesting journey. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tala. Thank you so much for the efforts of Dr. Roman, and thank you so much for being here with us for the session. Thank you so much, and I wish you all the best in your project. So now I would like to just give the floor to Dr. Ahmed Shaman to present and share the awesome journey with us, and under the title of the Assessment of Clinical Research Training within the Saudi Council for Health Specialties Postgraduate Programs. So please, Doctor, go ahead, and the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Tala, can you please remove your share screen? Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Hello, everyone. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. So thank you, IVPN Clinical Research Listserv, for giving me this opportunity to present our research project, assessment of clinical research training within the Saudi Council for Health Specialties Postgraduate Programs. How does this started? It was started when the IVPN Clinical Research Listserv with the IVPN Student Listserv as well called for mentors to supervise students and recent graduates in a research project with the aim to build their research skills and improve their capabilities in doing research. So I find this is an exciting opportunity. So I applied with the research ideas, and after some selection process, this is our team. As you can see, most of them are from different countries, and most of them are either recent graduates or still students in their final years. So we have Janice from Kenya, and Caleb from Ethiopia, and Julius from Malawi, and we have Hafiz here from Cyprus. So to give you some backgrounds about the significance of the research projects that we are intended to do, is about assessing the clinical research training opportunities within the Saudi Council for Health Specialties, specialty training programs. And this is important because clinical trials would consider or represent an extreme high value enterprise because of mainly large investment from pharmaceutical company to conduct them. And they have a significant value and substantial economic and health impacts for the country that hosting these trials. For example, for a country like Saudi Arabia, if they are doing a lot of clinical trials, you would expect the benefits or value of clinical trials to reach many levels within the community. For example, you have the patients would have access to innovative medications that will not be otherwise available outside the clinical trials research. Clinicians would also have the chance to have gain knowledge and experience with innovative medications and technologies, and would also give them the opportunity to participate in international research and building collaboration across the globe. For the healthcare institutions, you would expect that the clinical trials would bring another alternative to clinical care, especially if there is no proven treatment available for those patients, and also would give those institutions that participate in the clinical trials a chance to attract clinical scientists and leaders in their areas because they always want to do some research to advance science. And all of these will have a strong impact in terms of health outcomes. On the larger scale of benefits, you would expect that because of large investment and a lot of financial support from pharma companies, you would expect a lot of clinical research related jobs to be created within the community, which also have an economic impact. And for the government, having clinical trials would apart from creating jobs, would diversify the economy, as well as give the country the chance of technology transfer and give them a huge potentials for localization of pharmaceutical and pharma and biopharma companies, research and development activities to be localized within the country, which overall will have a strong impact in terms of economic and health values. However, giving all these potential benefits of clinical trials, the number of clinical trials in Saudi Arabia lag other countries with similar size and similar economy, for example. And as you can see in this figure, the Saudi Arabia have a very limited number of clinical trials that are sponsored by pharma companies each year from 2015 to 2020. Countries such as Poland would have similar GDP and similar population size to Saudi Arabia, yet they have much larger number of pharma-sponsored drug trials conducted at those countries. So there is a lot of opportunities that are missed because of a low number of clinical trials in Saudi Arabia. There is different or several barriers that exist that prevent the growth of clinical trials in Saudi Arabia. From this research project perspective, we are focusing on the limited number of competent clinical research professionals that are available in Saudi Arabia. And this will bring us to the idea of our research project here. Since the Saudi Council for Health Specialties is the main body for training for postgraduate studies for all health specialties in Saudi Arabia. Here's the number, for example, in 2019, there is around 3,800 accepted students for different postgraduate specialty programs in Saudi Arabia. From medicine to clinical pharmacy, dentistry, and applied sciences as well. So that will give us a strong opportunity, since most of these programs would have some component. Sorry, I think, this is Iqama, so if it don't hear me well, so I could stop now until they finish. So this will bring us to a significant opportunity, or a good opportunity, since most of these programs would require a student to do some sort of clinical research project or a training within those specialty programs. And however, we don't know exactly what is the extent of those clinical research programs. And how, what is, does they vary in quality, for example, or for the competencies that are required for the trainee to gain during these programs. So that will bring us to to our research project, which is basically will look into the Saudi Council for Health Specialties postgraduate training programs curriculum or curriculums to evaluate those and to review these programs and to determine if there is any common themes or common competencies within those programs, and if there is any variations in requirements for the training and assessment of clinical research competencies. After doing that, if we achieve certain, if we get a good picture about what is entailed by these programs in terms of clinical research activities, we could then make up some recommendations to standardize all these training for clinical research across all programs within Saudi Council for Health Specialties training programs. So this is our timeline. Basically, we started last January, a couple of months ago, with the study design literature review. We're still at this stage. So because mostly of my teams are either students or recent graduates, I'm giving them more time to get their head around the literature. We've also planned some of the guiding questions, if you wish, to guide them through the literature review, instead of wandering around all the literature available in the literature. So hopefully by April, we start some data collection after finding appropriate data collection tool. Then with hopefully by July, we have all the data analyzed and we start writing the manuscript. So the challenges we faced, basically I faced with, as a supervisor for this group, is usually there is a variable commitment from the student side into the completing the research project tasks. And I could think of many reasons for this variable commitment. Mainly, or sometimes it could be a loss of interest, after, especially as you can see, this is an international group, and the focus of my research project is a bit of a local project focusing on Saudi Arabia. So probably you would take this in consideration with the future students for them to make sure that they are interested in the topic itself. And also some of the students, they don't have enough incentives to do this project. I'm working with other several groups in my university, but these students are required to complete a research project in order to graduate. So they have enough incentives to finish the research project or tasks. I'm not sure how we could incentivize other research groups into finishing the projects. Also, one of the things that could be the reason for this is sometimes the student could be overwhelmed by the research process itself, especially given that many of them would have a variable research skills and capabilities. And I confess that sometimes research itself can be overwhelmed, and it takes a lot of time to get through the early stages. Okay, so some of the suggestions for future initiatives or projects that might involve students with limited research experience is basically to improve the selection process. I think I start to do that with my university students because with early groups, if you find the students are not committed enough, this might not be the optimal way for you to spend your time. So there should be the selection process to ensure the maximal commitment possible. It could be, for example, this is the thing that I use usually with my students sometimes, is to ask them to complete certain tasks before I commit to the team. If they do that task, it doesn't have to be done appropriately, but at least within the time frame, then I could invest my time in teaching those students and working with them from there. Some of the crazy ideas, because sometimes free things is not usually appreciated. Some people could say you could pay certain fees that would be refundable to you once you complete the task or do certain or achieve the performance that are expected from you. Other ideas that I want to share with you, and it's also suggestions, it's also open for debate and discussion as well, as to improve the research operation, is to manage expectation from the beginning, especially for the students. They need to know what is expected from them from the beginning and what is expected from you as a supervisor or mentor for them, and how the relationship is going to work. And especially for if you find that the student's capability is limited and might be overwhelmed by research projects, you could tinify the task that's required to do the research project, which is basically you break down the research task into the smallest chunk possible that the students find much easier to tackle. And also one of the key things that I want to emphasize here is continuous communication and close follow-up is important if you want to get this project to the finish. And thank you again for giving me this opportunity. And I'm really excited to share my knowledge with the students, especially from students with this from different countries of the world. Thank you very much. And I hope if you need to contact me, this is my email. And I hope you find this session useful. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ahmed, for your outstanding and remarkable leadership. I wish you all the best for you and your team. Thanks for this amazing sharing with us. So I would like to give the floor to our last mentor, Dr. Sabrina Busina, and to share the awesome and great journey with us under the theme of physical activity among university students pre and post COVID-19. So, Doctor, please go ahead. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Zinia. Thanks for all the researchers, the senior researchers, for all the valuable advices they bring to us. I would like also to thank the IVPN network, IVPN clinical research, IVPN student listservs for organizing this conference and for making our dreams come true. I will start my my slides now. Can you see my slides?
Yes, we can see.
Okay, so our project is title is Physical Activity Among University Students Pre and Post COVID-19. Our team is from different countries. I see that many students are asking for if they can participate in our research projects. And for sure, yes, most of my team is students in the 4th and the 5th years of their pharmacy studies. So students are most welcomed for research, and this is part of the IVPN clinical research serve vision, is to bring the opportunity, or to get the opportunity to new researchers and new passionate students to get the research skills needed for their future work. So our project is it's a very new idea, born in December 2021. What brings us to this point is the passion of new researchers and new students and the recent postgraduates. This idea, it comes to my mind in December, and I discussed it with Dr. Nagam and many others of the clinical research board members, and all of them tell me, yes, go Sabrine, you should start your idea. So this passion combined with the idea and with the presence of the clinical research listserv, the support from clinical research listserv, how this listserv support us or support my team and other students, future students and future researchers, by giving us the opportunity to work in an actual team, in actual research. And this research will be published in the future, inshallah. Also, I would like to say that clinical research listserv is giving us the opportunity to connect with researchers from around the globe. More than 1,500 researchers are part of this clinical research listserv. My goal also, besides of taking or excelling in new skills and research, is to take the hands of new generations, new pharmacists who want to be researchers, future researchers. I think that millennials, as Dr. Osama always said, can make a change in our profession and can participate in many new opportunities or new jobs, untraditional jobs for pharmacy. So I was reading an article that published in December 2021 about physical activity and lifestyle in students during COVID-19 lockdown. This study was done in Saudi Arabia in King Faisal University in Al-Ahsa, and here my idea started to develop. So the background of our project, the WHO recommends at least 150 minutes of moderate physical activity per week for the normal population. It's important to assess the sedentary behavior, as this is related to increased morbidity and cardiovascular risk factors. Okay, then sedentary behavior is a health problem, not only in university students, also in childhood and youth population, but it's shown that it's aggravated with age. The average sitting time for for the university students exceeds 9 hours per day, especially in the COVID-19 era. So what's our objectives, aims, primary and secondary objectives? Our aim from the study or this project is to evaluate the student activity and the sedentary behavior before and after coronavirus lockdown. Our primary objective is to evaluate the prevalence of physical activity among university students. And here we include all university students, not only medical students. Our secondary objectives from this project is to determine the factors that cause the increase or decrease, or will cause the increase or decrease in the prevalence of physical activity. Also, we want to measure the awareness about physical activity among the students, and this may give us the idea to make, if we need awareness campaigns, for example, in for university students in the future. Design and challenges for our project. This project will be an observational, cross-sectional using an online questionnaire. We started looking at the available questionnaires. For example, the Global Physical Activity Questionnaire, which was used in the other studies we looked for. And currently, we are in the literature review phase in our project. We are very new, the most junior research project. So this is our timeline, proposed timeline. We started the idea in December 2021. We are here in the literature review phase. The data collection, we see that inshallah we will start it in June 2022. Scientific writing in September, and hopefully review and submission for our article will be in December 2022. I will not talk too much in this evening. I'm the last one to talk, and you are all busy. But my conclusion, this screenshot or this photo is taken from our first meeting for our passionate team and our great team. My conclusion, my take-home message is: don't be afraid to take the first steps. Every small step in your career or in your life will take you to success, will make your dream comes true. But this is our passion, this is our objective. Inshallah, we will work in a good teamwork with a good spirit, with the passionate students and fresh graduates. And they will publish their first articles as co-authors in this project. We will learn a lot. I am the leader, and I am the first to learn a lot from this project. I would like to thank the student listserv and the clinical research listserv for letting us be here and to start the journey of our project. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sabrine. We were surely and totally agree with your point that you just mentioned, the small step that's leading toward the big steps. So yeah, it's a great one to mention. So I would like to say a big thanks to all the research leaders and their team members together for their amazing efforts and dedication to implement the various projects around the globe. We're wishing them the best. And I also would like to say that in the future, we have a lot of opportunities that will be released. So as I see many interested messages from the chat box, so I highly recommend those passionate students and person to just join the IVPN mail listserv and to specifically receive, specifically receive this opportunity. You can just join IVPN Clinical Research listserv. And now I would like to just pass the floor to Dr. Nagam to moderate the second session, which is the panel discussion. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Zaina, for your great moderation. I really appreciate it. Thanks, our expert, for sharing your experience, your motivation, your commitment, and even your achievement so far. It was a great presentation for all of you. It's really very helpful. Again, I need to thank you because you work hard during the pandemic. All of this challenge was really frustrating for all of us. So it was great that you're still working and still have the passion to continue your project until the end. So really appreciate your work, and Jazakallah khair, as we know. So now we are opening the floor for the question and answer. I would like all of the panelists to open their videos so the people or the audience have the chance to talk with you. You can type your question in the chat box, so then Zina and Hafiz can help me in answering the questions to all of you. I will start I need to ask I will start maybe with Dr. Emna, if you don't mind, Dr. Emna. I need to ask most of the students now, they are asking, what's the skills or what's the requirement you are looking for to enroll the people or the students or the pharmacists in your team? They said most of them, they want to now to call for to have a project and working with any new mentors. So what's the qualification you are looking when you are selecting your team? You are muted, Emna.
Sorry for that. Hello again, everyone. I think this is an expected question, since everyone at the beginning of their experience with research, every one of us thinks that he doesn't or she doesn't have the skills needed in order to perform a full research project, which is quite wrong, because it's all about passion at the beginning, and it's all about mentorship. So I think if you get the right mentorship throughout the road, and then you work in a collaboration and collectively with your team, you will mutually benefit from this collaboration, and it's independent of the stage of research where you are. So as I previously mentioned in my presentation, my team is composed of different persons at different levels of research background and experience. Most of them are starting their journey with me in this project. So this is their first project, and this is their first experience. And we are mutually gaining experience from each other, and we are mutually learning from each other. So to respond to their question, I would like to say that all of you are welcome, and this is the mission and the vision of the IVPN network at first, and the IVPN research listserv secondly. So millennials are welcome, and different experiences will serve each other to make it to make our experience and journey look as amazing as it is.
Thank you, Amna. Just I need to add more. No one is expert now. We're still learning until now. Nobody can say just I don't have an experience. All of us would not have this experience unless we have participate in a real project. Always I said, especially the research field or skills, it's raw and it's very tough. If you did not practice it, you will not learn from it. So through the IVPN platform, it's your chance now to get this experience, to see yourself, are you good in which phase, in writing, on searching the literature review, in data collection, in analysis. So thanks God that you have this chance now as a student. So inshallah, we'll have each year we make a call for an idea. So inshallah, on May after Ramadan, we'll make another call for a new research project. So please, for all of the researchers now and the audience, and for all of the students, keep following our post and be participating, because we will call for a mentor, and the mentor will come now, and then he will call after that with his idea. Then he will call for a participant as a student. So keep following our post, and inshallah, all of you will have a chance to be one of a real life research project.
Yes, Naham, I would like also to add that meanwhile, waiting for the next call to be released in May, as you said, I suggest all of the participants who are already motivated and excited to join us to follow the IVPN listserv research listserv activities, as they will initiate their experience even without practicing a project. So following up with us, with all the conferences we are bringing out to them, and they will be having an initial step into this large and big work, and then they will be maybe applying what they will be learning from you and from us and from the listserv itself in order to perform their next project after the call will be released.
Yes, yes, yeah, thank you. Yeah, now I'm pretty sure, yes. Now, just like I have a question to Dr. Hiba. I know your project is one of the project that most you are at to the end stage. I think so. So, what's like the big steps that you will now after you learn from the challenge that you faced, you will overcome it from the beginning if you start a new project?
Since I said in the beginning that I have an experience as a co-author, but this is my first experience as a research leader. So I think that we have many difficulties during data collection. And first, we had an idea that as a research member, خلاص, we will depend on ourselves in data collection. But if I will go into a new research project, from the beginning, I will have a volunteer. From the beginning, I will contact our research center to provide us with a volunteer because it will save too much time. Second thing, I think we have a lot of difficulties during statistical analysis because all of us have some kind of limited experience in SPSS. So I think calling or taking into consideration that we need a member that is specialized as a statistician from the beginning, it will save too much time. For manuscript writing, maybe taking into consideration that sometimes dealing with the academic person or a person who have multiple publication before, it can also save time with us. So I think that for every single researcher, he needs to think that his team, it kind holds some variety from student to take an experience up to middle level of experienced pharmacists that can participate in literature review and some kind of statistical analysis, but we need also to have an expert to save too much time. Expert in manuscript writing, expert that have many publications in order to help you to find a good journal, and one expert in statistical analysis. This is my opinion.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Dr. Hiba. For all of the now research expert and also for the other audience, IVPN Research Listserv have some people working in the statistics. So if you need any help, you can just contact me and contact you with the statistician that can help. And so if in your team, one of the members have this skills, that's great. But if you face any difficulty, you can contact us too. We are working together in order to have the project to the end and being published in a peer review journal, inshallah. The most message I wanted to deliver it also, the big challenge for the team member or for the author or for the leader is to know how to choose the best team. So as you say, Dr. Hiba, it's we are expecting the students, but as a leader, you have to know the strength for each of your team member, and you have to know from the beginning how to delegate these skills. So in order you will not, and you have a backup plan. So if something happen in between, so you can know how you can manage this pitfall or we can say this negativity. So, but it's a team member at the end. You are the leader, but it's a team flow. So each one has its own responsibility, and they have to learn from the others about each step. So all of us have the credit when you have an authorship.
Yes, that's right, Dr. Nagam. One of the most important point that you said, it's a backup person or backup team member. I think a good researcher or a good leader He's the one who's delegating the task, but keeping in mind that if some of the members have their own excuses and they cannot do the task on time, so I have a backup person or a backup member in the team that he can participate and he can just try to overcome this delay. So maybe the first experience usually have a lot of challenges, but for subsequent project, I think the thing will go more smoothly, inshallah. And from this stage, I just want to encourage all other healthcare providers, not only pharmacists, to take the first step and to be a research leader, even if you can see that the journey will be long and there's a lot of challenges, but I think that the final result that you will have deserve this taking the risk. And wallahi, and finally, after this long journey with a lot of challenges, but I feel that I'm proud with myself, proud of my team, that every single step of challenge we are overcoming. Even if the overcoming sometimes is difficult, but finally we will reach, inshallah, to the publication stage, and inshallah, for best of luck for all other research leaders. Thank you.
Inshallah, the best luck. Now, Dr. Ala, I wanted to ask also how you overcome, from your point of view, the challenge of low responses, because your study is a cross-sectional. So I know you work hard to distribute it, but maybe the audience wanted to learn, especially for cross-sectional studies, how they have to overcome the low responses.
So the low response rate is our main challenge that we're facing right now. So we try every now and then to share as much as we can the link in order to get more responses with the people that we know on different social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and we also last time we tried to change the poster by making it attractive, so maybe we get more responses. And there is one thing we could do also, because some people are working like in a pharmacy setting or in a hospital setting, and it's a cross-sectional and it's a retrospective one. So we could always ask our patients, have you been infected with COVID before? And on the spot, we could fill the survey with them or give them the link in order to fill the survey. So this is the best thing that we could do in the meantime.
Yes, I agree with you, and I agree with you. Dr. Hiba, we have a question for you. One of the audience said, if the antiviral medicine are paused or stopped, will the adverse reaction be reversible, like the hemoglobin drop, anemia, and the rest?
Yeah, alhamdulillah, we noticed that all the mentioned adverse reaction in our patient were reversible. But the time to reverse these kind of adverse events vary from one person to person, because as you know, we can see that not only antiviral can cause the adverse event like thrombocytopenia or hemoglobin drop or even increasing the liver function, but the disease itself can increase or be one of the reasons to cause such kind of abnormality. So even after stopping the antiviral therapy, we can see that the recovery for some patients will become delayed, because the disease itself can cause and can exacerbate such kind of reactions. But what we have seen in our patient, that most of them by the end of therapeutic course and reaching the discharge stage, alhamdulillah, most of them does not have any serious drug reaction that continued for a long period of time, and most of them were reversible, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, that's great. One of the question also for Dr. Ahmad, they asked, they wanted to participate in your project. Is that possible or not? Is there a room for them or not?
Definitely, anyone who wants to participate are more than welcome. especially, and I like your response to one of the students when they ask, what's the criteria to join the IVPN clinical research? And you said passion and commitment, that's all. And I second that. If you have the passion and the commitment to do the what it takes to do research, we are here to teach you. We are here to mentor you and show you the way. But if you don't put the or invest the time and the required efforts to do it, it won't happen by itself. So yes, more than welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Ahmed. Yeah, at the end, I think Dr. Ahmed and Dr. Sabreen project are still on development phase, because the rest are started before them. So if you are willing to join them, you can. We will share, like, you have their LinkedIn profile, and you can send me an email, or in the group of the research listserv group. You can post them and ask for their participation, and they will contact you back. Dr. Roch, just I want to highlight also some question. I know your project, you were expecting another site to join you, and then you only ended up with 2 sites. So how this challenge, because the people have, like, it's not like an easygoing journey. So how you face this challenge, and how you have the backup plan, how you change your plan in order to still undergo your project?
Yes, Nagam, we had more centers in the beginning. In fact, Jordan and one more involved. But due to certain reasons, better, we could not apply or get the IRB approval well in time. There were other issues too. So I managed. I had a backup plan that if I could not be able to get the approval, I can still do the project with at least two of the centers. So I did the same. Still, in another countries under approval, if I get that, I'll complete and compile the results with that, because rest of the things are going well. So in the end, I would say that two things. First, you must have a backup plan for every difficulty, being a good research leader. As secondly, you should have a mix of the team, like Hiba said or Ala said, that you should have a mix of the team. Some few people should be experienced, rest can be freshers or can be the learners one, but a mix of the team can do well and can handle any negative situation very well. Alhamdulillah, we managed the two centers very well, and we are now in the data compiling and the publication stage. We will go in the publication stage very soon, inshallah.
Inshallah, inshallah. Thanks a lot for your question. Thank you.
Thank you.
We need to highlight some important point now. For the one who still wanted to do a new project, or think about to be in a new team, always we said we cannot start any project until you get the IRB approval. Some of the questions said, I'm not working in hospital setting, so how can I lead? So I think this question can Dr. Sabreen answer us. So you are not working in an institution level, so I know your team, you can get the benefit of other people. Even one team, Tala, is facing the same. So now both of you, like, you can answer us. We'll start with Sabreen.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Nagam. For me, what I think to do is to bring to our team someone who can take the or get the IRB approval, someone who is in an institution or in hospital setting or in a university. But this is our next step, inshallah. If we can't within the team bring the IRB approval, our next step is to invite someone after we prepare the full proposal to and invite a new researcher to our team to bring the IRB approval, inshallah.
Inshallah, inshallah. Yeah, that's an important step. So, Dr. Tala, I think it's the same problem. So, how Dr. Rawan, the leader, approach this or overcome this? Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, Dr. Tala is not in the with us now. Yeah, but I will talk on their behalf because me and Rawan work on that. She's in Canada. She's like a pharmacist in a community pharmacy, and she wanted to undergo her project. MashaAllah, she has a great team from the Middle East. So at the end, she worked with one of our group leader in Jordan, and she took their team took the approval from the university in Jordan. And but you need to have like highlight one point. The type of study is reflecting how can we take the approval. So if the study is wanted to collect a specific data from one hospital, so you have to take the approval from the same hospital because it's a patient data and confidential data. But for example, in Rawan project, it's a cross-sectional multi-center. So for the cross-sectional, if you can one IRB approval from one hospital setting, it's enough because you are taking a data from the public. You're not taking a data from the patient. So this is we need to differentiate. But for example, in Roch case, it's a retrospective, and even in IMNA project, so they have to have the approval from this each hospital in order to give an access to the patient data. So whatever your project, an IRB approval is a must, unless you have a waiver from the institution like Dr. Hiba, a project. But otherwise, so when you formulate your team, look for IRB approval, and then you submit it, and then you can start. Otherwise, you cannot start any data collection without the approval. Yeah. Dr. Hiba, you have something to say? You raise your hand or by mistake? Okay, okay, okay. So I need also to highlight one thing to the audience. All of them ask how we can participate in the IVPN. I put a link for the IVPN research listserv. So just you can join it easily, and then you can follow our post and our second call. For the training, inshallah, we don't have anything now. After Ramadan, we'll have another education series about how to write a research protocol and how to do a proper literature review. So this is the series we are looking for during summer, inshallah. And I'm happy to hear any new project or new content you are looking for in the future. You can email me or you can send it in the IVPN research group.
Nagam, they still also always have access to our very rich library, so they can go back to what already has been done, and wait until to be like participating in live to our future trainings, inshallah.
Yeah, well, thanks, Emna, for reminding me. We have a great library. You can find it in the same website. We started the education series since like 2 years back. So every webinar or every lecture was recorded and available, so you can hear it and answer any question you wanted or ask any question you wanted for me or even to the speaker. We have a question from Hiba. She said, I'm a PharmD graduate in December 2020. Am I eligible to participate in the IVPN research? Yes, for sure. Anybody, we accept any pharmacist or any researcher, any have passionate for that. It's only just, as I said, go to the website and just make a join and fill some minor information. Can we find the research title in the website? No. We don't have some like titles, but you can follow us in the LinkedIn post, in the research group websites. Sorry, in the research group email. But moreover, we don't have new things to, unless Dr. Sabreen and Dr. Ahmed project, still they have a room to participate. So maybe I will share it in the group tomorrow about the project flyer. So you can contact them directly if you are still interested in both of them. But the rest are merely in the completion phase, so you cannot contact them or be enrolled now. Yes, here Hafiz, thank you. He sharing the library website in the chat box, so you can have an access to it at any time. And for all of the attendance, inshallah, you will have your certificate of attendance being sending within like 10 days after that. Any question you have it, even in the mentor, do you need to add any points to your students, to the audience?
I would like to say something, Nagam.
Yeah, Sabrina then Emna. تفضل Sabrina.
I see that some audience are asking about SPSS skills, gaining SPSS skills. I would like to say that stay tuned. IVPN Research Clinical Listserv will cover everything in research. So stay tuned. Keep your eyes on your email every day, and for sure we will help you in everything, even in SPSS. What do you think, Nagam?
Yes, we are waiting inshallah for the project. So yeah, we will have like a hands-on on the like a project. We will make it together, and you will learn how to analyze it on person. So all of the event will be after Ramadan, inshallah.
So, Nagam, I just shared the link to the IVPN network library, so they can easily click on the link, and they will find all of our previous, as well as the IVPN network conferences, if they're interested to go back and look at what has been done already.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Amna, thank you. Yeah, inshallah, Gloria, to learn about the analysis, just inshallah, we are working on it, and we'll post it about call for applicants after that. Any more question? Any more comments?
Thank you so much, Naha, for letting us sharing this experience with a large audience. And hopefully this will be the beginning of many of this research summits, inshallah.
Inshallah. I have one more question, if you don't mind. They said, as of the majority of the project are multi-center, so in case after data collection, if they will face losing data from one of the site, how they will handle it through? Do any of those experts wanted to answer the question?
I think, Naham, this is always expected because of many reasons. Since every site is unique, and especially when to look at the requirements for each institution from each site, we always have to be prepared to lose or even to gain some participations along the road. But if I personally faced this, that's why I jumped in and answered this question. But at some point, we can't do anything about it, because when it's multi-centered, that means that there are groups and different countries contributing. So we can do much more for a site to keep it with us and have detrimental consequences on other sites. So if it's worth it, or it's like for reasonable reasons, we better choose to accept losing one site to better continue working with the others, which is very bad. But yes, we can be encountering such a problem.
Exactly. I need to add two more points. First of all, the IRB always have to be informed about any amendment in your study. For example, when you submit your project in the beginning, you will inform that expected you will have, when you calculate your sample size, for example, 200 patients from five sites. So if there is any change, you have to submit this amendment to the IRB that you lose one site or you will drop this site from your research project. So they have to be informed in every step. Another things, you have to mention that even in your manuscript, if, for example, in your challenge or in your discussion or in your conclusion, what's the limitation in the section. So, but it's that's the, we can say this is will add a credibility in your work and in when the people read your paper. It's not always as we expected. Personally, I've been participating in a project. I was expected 100 patients and I ended up with 35. But at the end, we are looking for a quality, no more than a quantity. This is our rule. It's not only like I have 200 patients, then most of them are missing, or there is no benefit, or their data are not sufficient for analysis. So it's not how much we have, but it's more how value I have at the end in my data. Yeah.
Yes, very true. I agree.
Yeah, one question said, what is the scope of retrospective studies in research world? Anybody want to answer? For me, the retrospective, even if it's like, it's not one of the highest scale of like, or type of the research project, but it's give us like an idea about our history or our, you know, our, we can say our platform, you know, what's our guideline, for example, or how the people act in our institution. And over this retrospective data, you can work to improve in the future. So you have to know what do you have so you can work to improve it. So for example, most of the guidelines, how they are being done based on the old guideline, and they are working to improve the guideline. So you have to know what's the impact of whatever you have in a retrospective setting in your hospital. So some of people ignore whatever or don't like to be enrolled in retrospective, but at all, retrospective give us like a huge and good impact about our skills or our care for our patient. And we can see how is this affect or impact their life in the future setting. At the end, I wanted to have like a one conclusion or like one advice from each mentor, if you don't mind. So can I start with Dr. Emna, because you are the beginning? So just like a conclusion or just an advice from you to the people.
I actually shared an advice by the end of my my presentation. Nahan, do you hear me?
Yes, yes.
And I would like to repeat it in order to clarify how much is important to initiate your own experience. So you will learn from it, and you're always, and all of you are welcome to contact us and to get back to us in order to learn from our previous experience and help you trace your road and and overcome your roadblocks.
Great. Yeah, really, exactly. Thank you, Amna. So now the next, I will go with Dr. Roch.
My advice would be, or my suggestion would be, patience and keep trying until you achieve your goals, as per my experience and as per my observation. You have to keep trying until you can complete your research, because it's a long and tiresome journey. It's not very easy project. So until you have the patience to keep try, you cannot achieve that.
Yeah, this is the commitment. Yeah. Dr. Ala.
Consistency and never get demotivated no matter how hard it gets, because as we said before, some days you feel like I'm not going any further, I'm not getting my responses, khalas, this is not for me. But consistency and feeling, no, I should work harder, I should find other ways to get more data, it will help you. Just don't get motivated no matter how hard it gets.
Thank you. Dr. Hiba.
Wallahi, from my experience in this research, what I have learned that taking that chance to lead a research or to be a research member, it's not an easy decision. And the journey, you need to expect that the journey is sometimes tough, sometimes will go easy, smoothly, but you need to take into consideration that whenever the journey is tough or long, or you'll have some difficulties, but finally look to the final goal, that you will increase your experience, you will get benefit from all the people that you connected during your research journey. And keep in mind that the final decision or the final conclusion of your research will add in a value to the literature. And whatever you are giving a conclusion of your research, I'm talking about my research, for sure that someone someday will read your research and will get benefit from all the information that you include inside. Because what we did in our researchers, all of us, not only my research, it's a kind of accurate data that has been collected, analyzed in a professional way. So whoever will read your research, whoever will take the chance to open your research and read it, he will get benefit. And one day you will reach a stage that not only going onto one research project, but I'm sure that you can go into many research projects at the same time, and you will get the benefit for all pharmacists that you will join them in your team, even junior pharmacists. And I cannot believe what kind of social benefit I got from this research. So for each one is thinking to take this experience, I'm encouraging a lot, and best wishes for all future research, inshallah. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hiba, really great. Dr. Ahmed.
Yes, thank you very much. Yani, mashallah, tabarakallah, you left us with no advice to tell us.
No,
the good advices. So we left with the poor one. So I think yani, I just want to share something yani, insight with the students, that most of us, when we choose health specialties, we do it for the sake of touching other people's life, and we want to be helpful, and so we could get yani, make people feel better. Imagine a research, if you do it right, and you could touch the lives of people around the globe, millions of people around the world. So my advice to you, yes, at the beginning, researches can be overwhelming and can be difficult sometimes, but if you keep learning and become patient about it, soon you will find yourself changing and advancing science, and you will have a huge impact on the global scale, inshallah.
Inshallah. Thank you, Dr. Ahmed. Dr. Sabreen.
I will highlight 3 points. The first one, don't give up on achieving your goal, your dreams, the things you want to do in your life to achieve your success. The second point, whenever you need any support, please talk to the expert. Please ask. No one will know what you need or what you want unless you talk. So talk to the experts. MashaAllah, we have a lot of research experts here. So ask whenever you need any support. The third thing, our team is welcoming to any passionate research who is attending today. So please reach out to my email. I will write it in the chat box or to Dr. Nagam email. And you are most welcome. Thank you.
Thank you all. I need to highlight just like one more point that it's only the first project. It's like you have to follow to break the ice of the difficulty or of how the people are afraid from. It's a research project, you know, it's a research. People thinking it's a lengthy and it's so difficult. So it's only the first project. Really, after that, you will be addicted to it. You will need to do more. You need, once you get the acceptance email, it's just like a magic that you need to work over for the other one. The second point I need even to highlight it, for especially the fresh graduate, nowadays you have a great time to contact the experts through LinkedIn, through the social media. Before, we don't have this chance at all. So take the privilege of having IVPN network, having IVPN research, and even having the beautiful expert. So you can ask at any time, contact us, and we are here, happy to help, happy to support, and inshallah we'll see all of your names as a professional pharmacist and ex-researcher in the future. So thank you a lot for your time. Thank you, the expert, for your sharing your. Thank you, Hafiz. Thank you, Zina, for your great moderation and hard work.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. It was a great experience. Thank you.
Thank you
all.
everyone.
Thank you. Have a great
So much.